just as soon as Max Clair gets comfortable at Ohio State, he's got to go back to Purdue. Welcome to Snap Judgments. It is a Woody Wednesday. He is Jeremy Birmingham. I am Austin Ward. There's, I'd say, a twinkle in the eye of Max Clair. He's comparing where he is at the start of the season, week 1 against Texas, to where he is now. The production, the familiarity with the setting, the offense, the scheme, everything. He just feels like he is at ease around here, Berm, and that might not be a great thing for Purdue or his brother as he takes on the Boilermakers for Ohio State on Saturday at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, he might. I'm sure there's other people in America who have experienced this feeling before, but how many people have ever said they're excited to go back to West Lafayette? That is a very small number.
That's the first person I've ever heard say.
So I asked him, I was pulled him aside and said, hey, in the 3 years you were there, did the sun ever shine in West Lafayette? And he said, summers there are beautiful.
That's not true.
So I'm like, okay, I'll take your word for it. I've never had to be there in the summer, but he does seem excited. He seems ready to go. He seems like he is gearing himself up toward a really big second half of the season. And I think when you are heading into a game, Ohio State does a good job of making sure when there are emotional components to a game for a player that they find a way to spotlight that guy and give them an opportunity to shine. The same with Caden Curry. I was talking to him. He's going to have, he said, close to 40 family members who are going to be there. Talked about going to a baseball camp at Purdue when he was younger and how, it's really close and how he's excited to be there for everyone. And we didn't actually speak to Caden Curry tonight, but it was just
he was out there
for another Indiana guy going home
because Caden Curry wanted to talk to people about it.
I want to say one other thing about Caden Curry. He said he would love to have one more year to play for Matt Patricia, and I said, "Well, it's too bad you can't." And he said, "Yep."
Eligibility is a myth.
I told him that I would start, trying to plant the seed to see how we can go to the NCAA and demand a 5th year for Caden.
I mean, they're handing out 9th years, 10th years.
Yep.
I'm sure there's a way that Caden Curry can get it, but. There's a possibility that Max Clair could use one more, and I think that conversation is heating up, although as the production upticks and he's starting to get to that level that people projected when he got here, we'll see. That's a conversation for down the road, but what is it that you think about Max Clair that is really so different in this Ohio State offense now compared to 2 months ago?
Well, I mean, he's realizing he's a tight end, and after 3 years of being essentially a split end at Purdue and a big wide receiver or a big slot guy, like he's developing into a full tight end, and that's why he picked Ohio State. That's why the Buckeyes are a team that is recruiting tight ends very well around the country. It's Keenan Bailey did a great job, and it's a combined effort of saying you have to be all these things. And I know it sounds cliche, but Ryan Day and Keenan Bailey and all these guys have talked about it over the years. You have to block like a lineman, catch like a receiver, do this like
protect like a running back,
build houses like a bricklayer, whatever. You have to do all those things.
I haven't actually heard that.
And I don't know that a lot of schools actually preach that to the degree that Ohio State does, because the Buckeyes are fortunate enough to have so much talent that they're not in a position where if you get a rare talent like Max Clair, where at Purdue it's like, okay, we have to use you. We can't hold you back if you can help our team win. And here it's like, hey, we don't need to shove you into things. Let's build this slowly. Let's get you where you need to be and do it right. And I think the cool thing, we've seen this in the past with other tight ends, with G. Scott specifically in the last 2 years, was once that light comes on and they're like, hey, actually it's pretty fun to hit people and not always be the guy on the receiving end, I think they start to really enjoy that aspect of the position. And it looks like Ohio State is starting to get what they thought they would get out of Max Clair. And now the question, as you said, like, can they find a way to convince him to give another year?
Yeah, and he doesn't need to answer that right now. There's still so much football. Ohio State could really just be at the midway point of their season, which is why the health watch is starting to heat up for Ohio State. So we're in here for a Woody Wednesday. Players coming off the practice field. It looked to me, and this was, Ryan Day did not give an official update to the status report, as he never does on a Wednesday after practice, but as we're looking at the shell game with the 3 injured guards, 2 that were healthy enough for practice and 1 who they're going to monitor throughout the week, it seemed to me that the healthy ones are the starters, which would fall in line with, Ryan Day speaking into a microphone on Tuesday and saying that they're full steam ahead. That to me meant that the starters were healthy, and we don't watch practice, but they were on the bikes afterwards. They were with the starting 5 as you would normally align them, and Luke Montgomery was on one bike and Tiger Shabola was on another. I did not see Josh Padilla doing the exact same thing.
That's a pretty telling.
That's tea leaves. Yeah. We don't know, but that's where it appears to be.
Seems right. And again, we did see Josh in here on Tuesday for a moment before we started recording Snap Judgments after Ryan Day's press conference. He looked like he was trying to get some extra work in. That's, again, one of those signs where you're like, okay, maybe there's a little rehab necessary for him to get where he needs to be. And it's fine. Like, again, now the hope here, of course, is that what we saw last week out of Tiger Shabola was maybe his best game of the season.
I think it definitely was.
And it was primarily, or we can ascertain that maybe part of that, like, push, the motivation is that, hey, there's somebody here trying to take my job. So now you hope that there's no resting of a laurel if Josh Padilla can't go on Saturday, because there are still other guys like Gabe Van Sickle and, of course, Ethan Anianwa that are ready to contribute for Ohio State.
Ryan Day did single that out specifically for a little peek at what the depth chart would look like if they needed to go to another guard, that Gabe Van Sickle has put himself in line for that work. It's been, I think, deserved. We've seen him get involved in a couple games off the bench and look pretty solid. That would be the direction for Ohio State, if need be, on Saturday against Purdue. And then about, 15 yards away from me in the pit in the corner of the indoor Woody Hayes Athletic Center, the last player working today was Ethan Oniyanwa. Now, he was looked like working on some pass sets and tackle stuff more than guard. He did that last week too. So he's been putting in the work. Did get asked about this a couple times if we thought that he was in the same situation as Malik Hartford and CJ Hicks. He is not. He has played in all 8 games. That is a couple times off the bench to get involved at the start of the season, but in every single game on field goals and extra points. So he's not not have a redshirt year being saved. He also wouldn't have that available to him in any way based on the numbers he's played. Again, eligibility is a myth, as we talked about with Caden Curry. Maybe that would apply to Ethan Oniyanwa.
If you only play special teams, I don't think that should count.
I agree with you.
Are you listening to me, Charlie Baker, or whoever's in charge of the NCAA these days?
No, he's not.
Spencer Holbrook, if you're listening to me,
make it happen.
Make it happen.
But I want to make that clear. He is not. Ethan Oniyanwa is not playing because of the playing time situation has not been earned. It is not a request for redshirt. He is still participating on special teams. And as we've seen, a couple Wednesdays in a row, last one to leave the practice field and trying to find some way. And there's, again, plenty of opportunity for him to do that. There's 8 more games left potentially for Ohio State.
Yeah, and again, apropos of nothing, as I'm standing here and we talk, I listen upstairs in the food area for Ohio State right now, there's Josh Padilla right there. He's not like looking like he's in too bad a shape. So if your concern is
what can you you can't even see.
I mean, he's moving around. He's walking normal. I mean, that's a good sign. I'm just saying, like, I
didn't say that he was dead.
I'm just saying, I want people to know, like, it doesn't seem like it's like something that should be a long-term thing, but whatever. That's our job, is to tell people what we see. We have the fortune of being inside of these beautiful gray walls. We should tell everyone everything we see.
They are beautiful.
How about Julian Sayin? Let's talk about Julian Sayin, the quarterback for Ohio State. He immediately, and everyone would have assumed, deflected from the conversation about the Heisman, about what he's doing as a quarterback this year. Was asked about Jeremiah Smith, what makes him so good, and
everything.
And Julian said it's his work ethic, it's the way that he prepares, it's not just the fact that he's super talented, it's all the other things he does. I'm becoming more and more intrigued by the mindset of Julian, the intelligence of Julian Sayin, which is not something that, like, quarterbacks. We know that quarterbacks have to see things in a certain way, and generally are among the smarter players on the football field. But there just seems to be like an emotional intelligence that, like, I don't know if you saw it on Wednesday, there was a video clip on social media of Fernando Mendoza talking about what Indiana's offense is doing and what makes them tough. And he's like, well, if you take away the run, we'll just grind it for 370 yards right up your, and like, it's just such a little different like approach. And Julian is very like, we need to get better. I pulled him aside after we were walking off, trying to just joke with him and lighten the mood a little bit. And I said, have you ever played this many games in a row this well? And he said, maybe in high school, but he's like, but then every game I get off the field and I realize how much stuff I can improve on. I'm like, yeah, but then you look at the stats and you're completing 90% of your passes.
Well, he threw 3 incompletions last week, Berm.
So he's just very focused on, he again reiterated how he should have had 2 hands on the football on the scramble on Saturday. He's very, very good at doing this isn't about me, it's about my team thing. And I think that for a team like this, like, he's playing like a Heisman favorite. He's playing like the best quarterback in the country. He's playing like a potential number 1 overall pick in the 2027 NFL draft if Jeremiah Smith wasn't in it. But then he plays quarterback. He's still talking and acting like the game manager, which I think is a really great combination for a quarterback to have at a place like this.
People love the vibes on snap judgments. And I don't know what else there is to say about the way he's playing on the field on Saturdays and the arm talent, the deep ball, the decision making.
Where is he on deep ball?
I think he's elite on deep ball. That's where I'm at with it.
That's where I'm at as well.
And majestic is the word for that. Picturesque, gorgeous. And I think that there's not much more. The statistics tell the story, and then if you watch every snap on Saturday, you can tell what an elite level he's playing at. But as I've been thinking about this year, and going back to, we talked about spring and Lincoln Keynote's having some better days than maybe compared directly with Julian Sayin. And I think that that's an important reminder of how much work he has put in, how much he has developed over the last 7 months. It is a credit to him, it's a credit to the coaching staff, and it's a credit to the rest of his teammates. And also, obviously, first and last, to Julian Sayin himself. But there's another day that stands out in my mind, which was a practice 3 quarterback availability day in training camp. And Julian Sayin was really the first time that he's sitting in front of 50, 60 people and 10 cameras. And I understand. Yeah. It is an uncomfortable situation. And he kind of, at that point, looked like a deer in headlights. And I remember walking away from that and being like, I wonder if that is why Ryan Day is talking about communication in the huddle, command of the locker room, and all these other things. And how you handle the media does not always translate 100%. Sometimes not even 10% to how you go play the game. But the level of communication for a quarterback and the emotional intelligence that you talked about is so critical, especially if you're going to take a team like Ohio State to a national championship. He has come light years in that regard as well. And again, I always say all the time about life is about reps. He's getting so comfortable in that situation. He's obviously comfortable leading the offense. He's doing the thing that he was born to do. But it's the total package. Because now if you're talking about a month out being in New York and at the Marriott Marquis, I think he'd probably give a pretty good speech. And all that stuff would be well-deserved. And it's everything. He's improved across the board. That includes off the field.
Yeah, and part of that, I mean, it's kind of anecdotal and jokey, but we had heard that on Saturday night after the Penn State game, he was out with some family and friends dressed up for Halloween as a surgeon, which of course is apropos. Because that's what he's been playing like. But we were told that he kept on a surgeon's mask the entire night so people wouldn't recognize him. And so I asked him about it, and he's like, "Well, I'm not stupid." Like, well, that's it. That's what it comes down to. Like he's really leaning in to Ohio State. I didn't say where he was. He was out to dinner with his family, so his family was in town.
Sorry,
I just think
my mistake.
He's really leaning in
to the Hilltoppers
to what it means to like be the representative of this team. And for a team that is just so immensely talented, you see all the different personalities. Of course, tonight we get 10 minutes with Jermaine Matthews, which is always one of the most enjoyable, entertaining stretches of
topped
media
only by Caden McDonald also being available.
Just like, so you have all these different parts, and like you need a guy like him. And we've seen so many different quarterbacks in the last 10 years here, all having different personalities. JT Barrett, by the time he was in year 5 here, hated talking to the media, but like if you pulled him aside, he was like always himself. But it would get to a point with the media and in scrums and bigger sessions where you could just see the visible irritation with things he was asked and talked about. CJ was very, very like courteous and proper at all times, and then towards the end you could see him starting to be like, okay, are we going to do this again? I'm going to get asked about this again. And so like in some ways I'm grateful for Julian was kind of sheltered from the Ohio State media circus over the last year and a half, because it did allow him to really kind of ease into it, which I think is a benefit not just to him as a person in this setting, but the guy that he is on the field. Like he's not flapped, that makes he's unflappable. He's not flapped.
Not flapped. Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
People say that all the time.
Yeah. People always say guys are not flapped.
I asked somebody tonight if they could play fullback down the stretch.
I asked someone if they wanted to play fullback down the stretch.
What did that person tell you no?
He said, I think I would have been pretty good at it, but I like what I'm doing now.
I was told like just a couple times.
Oh, you do ask 98? Because I asked 85.
I asked a different person.
I asked Bennett Christian.
I'm sorry. I asked someone if they would do it.
Oh, I get a sneaking suspicion that 98, Caden McDonald said, I would love to.
He actually said no.
Really?
And he said, because Saturday he played a career high in snaps. And I think he's pretty locked in and Ohio State needs him to stay there. And I understand that fully. And he said he would rather score on defense. He suggested to me that Ethan Onyanwa should be inserted at fullback.
Wow. I don't think that's necessary. I think it's fine.
I
think it's fine to put a sixth offensive lineman out there, as I've postulated in the past. The thing with Caden, and this is what I asked him Saturday after the game, like, dude, you could have scored a touchdown on defense if you just picked the ball up. But I said, straight up.
Yo,
Caden, straight up. Why didn't you just pick it up? I love the combination of personalities on this team. And like in a night like tonight, when we sit down with a Max Clare understated, Bennett Christian completely like an adult, like a grown-ass man.
Yeah.
And then you see Jermaine Matthews still exuberant, talking about how he like gets super excited when the blitz gets called for him and he's trying and he's on the field and he's worried that he's going to like be too excited and people are going to know that he's blitzing because he can't hold his energy. So like, I just think it's a really great mix. And for a team that we've obviously spent a lot of time with now in the last 8 months, like they seem to me like they're really figuring out everyone's role, like, but not on the field as much as it is off it. And it's really cool.
Yeah. And they love these opportunities to go on the road as well, because you can tune out the noise, you eliminate some of the distractions. Now, maybe that won't be quite as much the case for Max Clare and Caden Curry as they head home to Indiana, the state of Indiana, have a bunch of friends and family going to be there. There's also going to be just a ton of Ohio State fans there. A pretty good opportunity to go make a short drive and watch the Buckeyes. I think there's going to be plenty of seats available at Ross-Ade Stadium.
I'd reckon, yeah.
And it starts at 1 o'clock, by the way, on Saturday. That's on BTN. We can't wait to get over there. That will be Friday. Before then, though, you're going to have to, or you get to, however you want to view it.
Yeah, up to you.
We've got for you, if you'd like, 3 thoughts on Thursday on the beat. We will dive into some bold predictions as well on Friday, Freaky Friday version. So all the rest of the stuff that you've come to expect from the Austin Berm Show, of course, you're going to get it as we get one day closer after a woody Wednesday and some snappy Jays. Thanks so much for joining us on 97.1 The Fan, 10 TV Plus, Apple, Spotify, Roku, anywhere you get podcasts, anywhere you watch or listen. We sincerely appreciate you, America. He's Berm. I'm Austin. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning.